It's a very hot and muggy evening. Guess we're supposed to get some tropical storm coming in. I went camping over the weekend. It was supposed to be Friday and Saturday night, but we had to leave Saturday afternoon because a huge storm came through with thunder, lightning. Campsite got all wet. So I got home a day early and we still have that muggy weather. It definitely rained a little bit here this afternoon, but you know, it's all part of our lives, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to take a little tour of the garden, the vegetable garden. I'm so thrilled with how it's going. Better than I could have imagined considering all the struggles I've had with it. So let's go check it out. The green zucchini is flowering again and sending out, it looks like little tiny baby zucchinis. After the zucchini got kind of rotted at the ends, as I showed in an earlier video, I went ahead and fertilized them, and then everything came out fine afterwards. I think the rotting was a nutritional deficiency. Although this hasn't produced yet, I'm hoping to get some yellow zucchini out of this plant. My two Better Boy tomato plants are growing, not as fast as the others, but they're growing fast enough. I put some twine around the bottom of one of the tomato trees and had the other tomato growing through this metal plant holder, and it seems to have been very successful in keeping the cats out of there. I am thrilled with this tomato. This is an heirloom seed from Baker Creek Seed Company. It's called a Paul Robeson, and it already is starting with the little tiny tomatoes. Check that out. I have a couple of them growing. When I went to Montana and came back, there had been some damage done to the plant. There's this big, huge caterpillar that is, I guess, created by moths or something, and it was eating up the leaves. There were a couple of these branches here that were devoid of leaves. So I went to the nursery and they gave me some spray, so I sprayed it a couple times on the plant, and all the leaves are growing nicely and normally again. But I am watching for it all the time. Anytime you see a branch with no leaves on it, looks like they've been eaten off, then they have been eaten off. And those things move so fast they will destroy your plant. I fertilized my rhubarb too, and it seems to be coming back from the dead. Check out my mini pumpkin. I wanted to grow pumpkins, but I already had these mini pumpkin seeds, so I got those instead. Isn't that cool? Hopefully I'll have a few more. I got this seedless blackberry plant, was able to divide it into two plants. Neither of them have done real well. I mean, they've grown, but there's been no flowering and no blackberries. But there is plenty of new leaf growth, so maybe it needs a little more time. I have two beets here. I'm really thrilled. I've never grown beets before. I'm going to try it again next year. But I'm thrilled with the two I did get. This fencing I put around the beets seems to have kept them safe from the cat. I have a big butternut squash plant here. It hasn't started producing yet, but it looks like it might start soon. I've got some things attempting to grow down there. I don't know if they're leaves or what's going on, but I'll be watching it. The cucumber plant has gone wild. It has grown and grown and grown, and I'm starting to get some little cucumbers here. Here's a better shot of another one. I'm sure there's more of them here under all the leaves. Doing great. My onions and garlic did all right. I think the reason they did thrive is sitting in the middle of the box there. But the garlic actually did pretty well. I have quite a few garlic bulbs right now, and big ones and small ones. So I think I'll be growing those again, but the onions I'm not so sure. I have quite a few herb plants growing. This is marjoram, and I have some different mints over there and back in there. I have some rosemary right here. And these are Persian chives. They're just delicious. They look like grass, but you can chop them up. They have a very strong garlic flavor and eat them raw or sauteed. Chamomile keeps coming back for more. Sage is doing great, and so are all those lantanas I got a few months ago. Here's the compost pile. I've thrown a bunch of vegetable and fruit pieces, discarded pieces, tea leaves, and eggshells in there. I don't put any meat, cheese, or fish or any animal products outside of eggs. So I'm just letting it sit there. I'll mix in some soil at some point and some chips from the chipping they did here. I have some wood chips and just let it sit. I may mix some of it into the boxes that are empty and put some wood chips on those too. I noticed that all my boxes outside of one or two were soil that I made myself this way with old soil and with homemade compost, and everything just grew so well. This yellow pear is doing real well. Yeah, there were two, but one got destroyed by the cat. So I put another one in, but it got kind of a late start, and I don't know if it's going to really grow. But this one's doing great. It also has little tiny tomatoes growing, and I'm looking forward to starting to enjoy those soon too. Check out this chrysanthemum. It's been ready to bloom for a couple weeks now. I guess it's just waiting for the right set of circumstances. So as I think I mentioned in the video, most of the soil I have enriched myself. I save all my vegetable and fruit peelings and pieces, etc., and dig them into the earth and add wood chips. I have the fire department come once a year, get my trees trimmed. I think I showed that in an earlier video. Put the trees out by the drive. They come, they chip them all up, and then leave the chips here. It's a wonderful service and definitely cuts down on fires here too. The only thing I have not had success at are the strawberries, and that is definitely the cat. There's a couple, well, it's the cat and a couple other reasons. The pneumonia I had slowed everything down, and I'm amazed that things are coming up as well as they did, but it definitely slowed the strawberries down. I got them in kind of at the end of the planting season. We had the 4 days with no water. We've had killer heat, had the cat. Those bare roots never really had a chance to get established. I'd like to do this again next year, but I'm going to have to do something very different, mainly with defensive action against the cat, who is very destructive. The pneumonia itself took a lot out of me with getting seedlings done and stuff planted and the boxes ready. I just was not really in any position to do anything until, I don't know, even into like late June. I was still very, very exhausted from this. So that was definitely a roadblock. Will not be doing onions again. I'm not sure if the onion problem was due to the cat or due to the fact that onions have a hard time here. I still have a bag of onions. I'm going to give it to a friend of mine who had more luck with the onions than I did. I was very happy with my garlic. Just about every garlic I planted came up. So this is my first real successful garden. Insofar as the produce that I'm getting, the produce I'm hoping to get, and just the overall success of the plants. Just about all the plants, with the exception of some of the herbs, have all been started by seed. Some were started, I started in little seedling cups. Most I just put in the box itself, and they just grew that way. So I'm beginning to think that this direct sowing into the boxes is probably most successful. In clearing out an area, well, in clearing out my whole down area about 1.5 years ago, the guy who was doing the tractor and all that, someone's coming up the road. I always like to check who's coming up the road, because nobody comes up and down the road. Just, what is going on? So anyway, in the course of some tractor work to move debris, we found a spring. So the spring goes the whole length of this kind of flat driveway type area. So it's a perfect place for fruit trees because there will be continual hydration, and I think over the winter that's what I'm going to do there. So slowly but surely, I don't know if I ever get to the point of a food forest or of being able to feed myself for months on end, but just the fact I could do it and that I've progressed and I've come this far is hugely triumphant for me. I was sick. We have big weather events here. It just is a challenge here, and I'm just very happy that I got it to this point. So next year, who knows? I will do some changes in what I'm growing and how I'm growing it and what grows better here and what grows worse here. And of course, it's always a continual evolution. So next time I see you, I hope I have some beautiful tomatoes. I'll either do a video about it or put it on my community page, hoping for some yellow squash, some red tomatoes, and some more pumpkins and some cucumbers. Those seem to be growing the best right now. So I hope all is well with you, and thank you so much for watching.